Hello and welcome to Faffing with Friends, and this week we're talking about food, glorious food. So, first of all, I would like to mention that, as you probably noticed from the timestamp of this episode, that we've cut our episodes down by about half an hour. The boomers won. So, the reason we're doing this is just time constraints. We're all busy and, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to record 1 hour episodes every week, so we appreciate that you guys understand why we're doing this, and maybe it's just easier for you guys to listen to us from now on. So, let's dig right into it. Let's dig into the main course, the starter, and eventually the dessert. Food, guys. Tell me what you love about food.
I wonder how many food puns we're going to fit into one episode. But
we'll try our best.
I did want to say this is a shout out to the very first episode of Faffing with Friends when people told us to cut the episode down a bit. So here we are. We've done it finally. You can be happy. But now, anyways, food. See, the thing with food, right, it's a necessity, obviously, but I feel like there's a sort of stigma because, whenever I tell people I cook and I actively enjoy cooking, people kind of look at me like, oh, you cook? Like, hell yeah, dude, I cook. Like, I love cooking. Cooking is something that's a very good passion of mine, and I love doing it. I feel like it adds a very nice niche of productivity to your day. And just in general, I feel like it's something that you can enjoy doing and something that you need to do in order to become just a genuinely better person. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. It's a life skill, right? So It's one thing that it was mostly because my mother wanted me to be able to help her in the kitchen that she started to tell me how to do certain things. So how to cook certain foods, how to just even, start off sauteing vegetables and whatever. And she always just said, one day you'll go and live on your own, and it's just a good skill to have. It was literally that basic when it came to why I even learned to make stuff. And even earlier, when I was a young child, when I was an only child, and my parents used to work pretty late sometimes, I was left to my own devices, and the most I could make was omelets. But I used to experiment a lot, like with whatever was left over in the fridge that I could experiment with. And I'd come up with these really crazy omelet recipes, but I would also guilt myself into eating them all, even if they tasted horrible because of all the stuff I'd mixed together. So I think it also starts there. You have to experiment as well. You have to feel confident that you can experiment as well. And it's interesting that you said that, we need food for sustenance. And you're right. It's funny how, philosophically and biblically, it all started when we ate that forbidden fruit. And without it, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the gluttonous Epicurean meals that some of us like to enjoy. Yeah, what do you think?
Hell yeah, I mean, that's pretty much completely accurate. It only took us 3 minutes to mention religion, Joe, so well done.
I really wanted to get it in. Now that the episodes are short, I really wanted to get it in.
It's a new Faffing with Friends record. So is that the first thing you learned to do?
Yeah, because they were so easy to make. Yeah. You just crack the eggs and pour them into the pan.
Yeah, isn't that everyone's first, I made a thing? It's either a sandwich, which doesn't really even count as cooking because you're just taking pieces of sliced things and slapping them together. Yeah. Or you throw an egg in a pan and you're like, whoa, it turned into an omelet. I'm so cool.
Yeah, bro, I'm a god. I'm a genius, but no, it wasn't actually omelets for me. It was pancakes, but,
Oh, nice.
Eggs still. I still think that, cooking eggs and just making eggs is it's cooking 101. You have to learn which is really unfortunate because I don't really like eggs. I don't like eating eggs, just by themselves, sunny side up or whatever. I just don't like them that much. In pancakes and anything else, I'm okay, but just plain eggs.
I was going to say, were you an incredibly fat child? How is pancakes the first thing you decided to learn to cook?
It was because of the flip. It was what appealed to me. I looked cool doing the flip, and
it was the flip.
I fucked up a few times, but it is what it is. I now like to say that I've mastered the flip, and one of these days.
Just a quick flashback to Ivaylo's childhood home where there's 50 pancakes stuck to the ceiling.
They would usually end up on the floor, not on the ceiling, but it's certainly something that I do enjoy and something that I can still make to this day. And
that's awesome.
I do want to invite you to come join me for pancakes sometime.
If they're made by you, I'm afraid that I'll be poisoned, so I don't think I'll try them.
Oh my god. Speaking of poison, I actually have a funny story, and no, I haven't poisoned anyone. But this was very funny because I had a friend over, and we were having dinner. It was quite nice, and then I realized that, because I made a recipe, which was one of my favorite recipes, which I will share later on in the podcast, but the thing is, I made the recipe, and this recipe involves mushrooms, okay? So we're sitting there.
I love mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms are great. So we're sitting there, she's eating the food, she's enjoying it, and then she realizes there's mushrooms in there. And she's like, is there mushrooms here? I'm like, yeah, there's mushrooms. And then she's like, I'm actually allergic to mushrooms, so now I'm probably gonna swell up and die. And I'm like, wow, this evening went for this evening took an interesting turn, but God, thankfully, be thankful to God, like she was okay. And it's just like, but fun story. I almost poisoned someone with mushrooms because they were allergic. Yeah.
You got to be careful because, I mean, if I'm ever cooking for anyone and inviting anyone over, I always ask, are you allergic to anything, or is there anything you don't like to eat?
Lesson learned, let me tell you.
Yeah, you got to be careful. People either just don't like to eat certain things, or they're actually allergic, and it could be very dangerous to them.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if it's not deadly, like you and me both have IBS, we know that certain foods will literally kill us for a day. If we have them, we will be stuck inside because we have to be near a toilet for that entire time. So certain food is literally like, when I eat it and I know it's bad for my IBS, I'll just be like, well, is today a day where I don't want to do much? Fine, I can sacrifice a day to eat something I want to eat.
Right, exactly. I'm in the same boat. Like, today is a Friday, so I usually don't eat meats on Friday or any sort of meat. I try to limit as well the other meat products that I eat, but I ended up eating a tuna sandwich today for lunch. I got a bit brave and I had some chili, which I haven't had in a long time. And usually, even if I have a little teaspoonful of chili, even less than that, my IBS gets triggered, and unfortunately I have the runs trigger warning list.
That's not
I'm not sure if I'm going to have that today yet, because I also mixed it with yogurt, and I can't remember what compound it is in dairy products that counteracts the capsaicin, but hopefully don't have an issue. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Because of IBS as well, I have to be very careful what I eat. I usually am. I also have very mild GORD. I used to have it really badly. So again, very acidic foods really really trigger my reflux. So
oh yeah, no, I have, anytime the audience hears me coughing, when we don't manage to edit out every single cough because we're sick like that, if they assume it's COVID, it's not. That's acid reflux causing me to cough because I have the most acidic insides of mankind.
So, do you guys have something that's you genuinely just love to have, but you can't because of IBS and stuff like that?
Again, because I don't care what damage I do to myself, not really. I'll still have it.
Fair.
It'll just hurt me greatly while I eat it gluttonously. More, and I'm just dying.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I also treat myself in the similar way, but obviously we both pace ourselves, right? You can't have it. You can't do it every single day because then you just be incapacitated.
Yeah.
So again, chili. I love chili. I know that sounds weird, but I if I could have it with everything, I would. But again, I can't. So I have it very rarely. In terms of, because of the conditions that I have, foods that I try to avoid, but I would love to have. I mean, there aren't that many that I would just outright avoid. I don't drink tea or coffee. I don't drink fizzy drinks or anything like that. So
yeah, fizzy isn't good.
I also don't miss them, if you know what I mean. I also try to lower my dairy intake. So I've been opting for coconut milk recently. I mean, obviously not everyone's a fan, but I've been having my cereal with coconut milk in the morning. And it's, it's fine for me. I mean, it's got some flavor.
I absolutely despise coconut
really?
water. No offense. I tried it. I've given it
not
many
coconut
shots.
He
water.
said coconut milk, not water.
Yeah, not
yeah,
water.
Milk. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, but just
yeah.
I hate coconut. Just in general,
That's
I feel like it's
disgusting. Wow. You're a horrible human. Can we remove him?
No, you can't.
Okay,
next you're gonna tell me,
Twitter poll for this week.
Next.
Twitter poll for this week. Can we kick Ivaylo off the podcast? And is Bounty the best ever candy bar? Yes.
Bounty is trash, bro. You're trash.
Do you see what I have to put up with, audience? The things I have to put up with just to keep this podcast going for your entertainment. Really,
low tier sweet, bro.
Well,
low
you know what's funny? Whenever we would get celebrations, right? When I was younger, I would avoid Bounty because I don't know why. But nowadays, whenever we're lucky enough to have it, I always eat the Bounty first because I love it so much, and then I'll get to the rest. I'll be like, I missed the Bounty.
Well, when it comes to sweets and stuff, I have a very specific thing where if something's too sweet, I hate it. It makes me sick eating things that are too sweet. So when I'm having candy or anything, I avoid stuff with caramel that sticks to the teeth.
Yeah.
I avoid extremely sweet sort of candy bars and candies because they will literally just make me feel really bad if I eat more than one or two. So I always orbit towards stuff that's either fruity because it has a less sweet but more natural taste, or stuff like Bounty that has coconut. stuff that isn't 100% just sugary death, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I do think that, obviously you guys mentioned your limitations with IBS, but I know that you, during lockdown, you have been keeping a very, very strict diet. So if you can just tell us a bit about that, obviously your expectations and your progress on it, I think that's going to be very good.
It's not a diet in the sense of I've kept myself from eating trash. It's a diet in the sense of like intermittent fasting. So I only allow myself to eat between a certain hour in the day, which for me is usually 11, and up till 6 in the PM. And after that, I'm not allowed to touch any sort of food whatsoever. No snack, no fruit, no veg, no nothing. Just water and drinks. And I've been doing this for like months and months now. And it honestly does, like, it's incredible the progress it's helped me make. Because I've gone from, I think in a year, combined with workout, obviously, and going for walks, because I've really changed up my lifestyle during COVID a lot, I've managed to lose 20 kg, which in a year, it's insane. And I think if I hadn't done the intermittent fasting on top of that other stuff, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as effective in the long run. So I've just been keeping it up. Even with work, I obviously sneak in food during lunch at work. I sneak in food like during the day. I have little snacks in the window that I'm allowed to eat. Because if I don't eat before 6, and I finish my job at 5, then I'm not eating that day. So I have to make sure I have my big meals all before that hour.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is doubly more difficult on Fridays when we record, because Lawrence just jumped straight from work into the podcast, which means he doesn't get to eat for the rest of the day. So you guys should really be grateful, and I'm sure you are.
You don't know my secret. I was eating for the entire last hour of work while working. Just
there you go.
I had my plate on my left and my 2 monitors and my sick keyboard on my right. I'm like, oh yeah, more spreadsheets. It was great.
Lawrence gets fed by the admiration of the audience. It's okay. Yeah. He sustains himself on it.
I think Lawrence really does deserve some applaud. I mean, obviously, people progress differently with their body and stuff like that. But he's been keeping me updated on his progress, and I'm personally very proud of him, because it's very difficult to lose that much weight and to just try and be fit and stuff like that, and keep to a diet.
And to not relapse. That's always been the real difficulty. Because when you're like going for days 50 to 60 of I'm still on my intermittent fasting diet, and it's after 6 and I see some really tasty shit in the kitchen at night when I'm like wondering, because I'm stupid like that, and I open the fridge even though I know I can't eat anything, and I look inside and I see like banana bread, and I'm just like, my life is suffering. Why do I do this to myself?
And obviously, our listeners should be careful and, be cautious if they ever want to adopt a diet or go like on a exercise routine. Definitely. It has to be adapted to your body and to how you feel and how you're capable of doing things. And obviously talk to your nutritionist and GP. When it came to me, I have relapsed, unfortunately. I lost the same amount of weight that Lawrence did after we graduated, but I've added half of that back since the first lockdown, since the pandemic started.
I can tell you all what his secret is. He eats a lot of pizza.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's not very healthy, but it's so easy to prepare, and because I've been, home most of the time, and sometimes it's just an easy snack to make, and it's obviously not very healthy.
No.
I'll amend that, obviously, when the time comes.
Joe would fit very well into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with just how much pizza he had.
Yeah.
Just like anytime we'd call and we'd talk on Discord while gaming or whatever, it'd be like, wait, what are you eating? And he's like, another pizza. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, calm down.
The thing is, I'm actually on a diet currently because I suffered immensely from COVID and from my lack of gym. I used to be my personality before being a podcast host was gym lad. So now that I've become
what a downgrade.
What a downgrade, am I right? So like, I used to be a gym lad, and then when gyms shut down, I was like, I put on immense weight. I just lost all my progress.
In secondary school, I went to the gym a few times, but ever since I've just worked out at home because I hate I hate traveling. We all know this from previous episodes.
Fair enough. But I just love the atmosphere in the gym. I haven't had a bad experience in the gym, and I understand that's not the case for everyone. But anytime I've struggled in the gym or I've been working out with people, they've always been more than helpful to me. But as I was saying, I went on a diet because again, I wasn't exercising. I wasn't wasting all this energy that I had built up, and I'm currently on a diet plan where I rotate my food every day. So today, for example, is a day where I can eat pizza and I can eat more carbs and all that kind of stuff. But tomorrow is a day where I have to just have fruit and veg. That's all I can eat 3 meals a day, but they have to be fruit and veg. Then on the next day, it's just meat. Again, 3 meals a day, but just meat. You know, I try not to mix up my meals because, you know, before that I would have like, I don't know, chicken and rice together, and now I can only have chicken on one day, rice on the next, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I'm just trying. It's worked so far. I've gone back to 85 kgs from 90, so I'm pretty happy with that.
I think the reason I went with the intermittent fasting one is I don't like to actually like count calories in food or like be careful about what I eat. So in my version, it's literally just eat between these hours. It can be whatever you want. Just don't overeat too much and you're fine. And that way I don't actually have to change anything about what and how I eat, which to me would be enough extra effort that I'd probably have quit the diet by now.
Yeah, makes sense. Are you guys doing any protein shakes? Or something like that?
I have these really like nice coconut latte fucking flavored like.
Oh, coconut again!
Yeah, baby, coconut. But yeah, no,
disgusting.
They're really good. No. They replace like one of my 3 meals that I should usually be having because they have enough to like fit as either lunch or breakfast. So they're really nice.
Yeah, I've currently plateaued with my exercise. I really need to get back into it, especially before summer starts. Right. When I was back into. Because, again, the pandemic was also not... I had to... Obviously, I know you can exercise at home. I do that, but...
Yeah, the prison workout, baby.
I was used to exercising at the gym, so I immediately cancelled my gym membership and sort of fell off the wagon for a while.
Yep, same story.
And then tried to get back into it. Was doing really well for 2 months in the autumn. And then fell off the wagon again, plateaued really badly. Just, you know, I do the bare minimum exercise at the moment. But we talked about fast food, so I really wanted to quickly jump into...
That's exactly where I was going to take us next. I wanted to ask everyone, when it comes to that moment where you're like, I'm going to order, I feel fat today, I'm going to have some really good shit food, some real fast food. What do we all gravitate towards? I want to start with mine, and then I'm going to ask you to, what is your go-to fast food?
Sure.
Okay, so for me, right, the first time I came to this country, back in my own, we had McDonald's, we even had kebab now and then, we had chicken, we had all that, right? Like, that you could think of. The one thing I never had in my own country until I came to England was Chinese food. So the first time I came here and I had, like, my parents take me to a Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet, my fat little heart filled with joy. And I was like, this is how I want to die, if possible. And ever since then... When it comes to what takeaway do I want and crave the most when I'm thinking, let's get takeaway, in my head, a singular image appears, and that is sweet and sour chicken, Hong Kong style, some good, nice egg fried rice, and some noodles. And just anything else I want to add on to that is good, but those are the main components when I think I'm getting takeaway. That stuff, and I know it's terrible because that's a lot of carbs, but man, I can't help it. That Chinese food, it's just, it's so good. Chinese
really fills you up. Really fills you up. And to answer your question, I'm actually on the reverse side because where I came from my town in Bulgaria, Chinese was insanely popular. Like, the most popular restaurant in my hometown was actually a Chinese restaurant. See, we didn't have any of, like, the typical traditional ideas of fast food. We didn't have any burger places. We didn't have chicken shops. Stuff like that. And by chicken shops, obviously mean like your
fried
Morley's
chicken,
and your fried chicken and your corner shops. That was a novelty for me when I came to London. So obviously when we came here, McDonald's was obviously one I loved at the time. There's a huge difference between the Bulgarian version of McDonald's and the British one. I'm not gonna... Yeah, because there are stuff on the Bulgarian menu.
Everywhere in the world is like that.
I mean, I remember that's the weird thing. Back in Romania when I had McDonald's, I order exactly what I order here. So I've not noticed that. Because I'm not one of those people who looks at the menu in most fast food places, especially if they're like an ongoing chain, because I just know when I go to so-and-so, I get so-and-so. Like, if I ever go to McDonald's, I'm getting the nuggets and I'm getting a Big Mac, and that's my order. I have a massive hot take. I hate fish.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I disagree on everything except for fried fish. I hate fried
fish. I like seafood, the rest of it, but fish and the meat fish have and having to pick out the bones It is the most thing I avoid the most.
Literally buy a fillet. Jeez.
I'm not rich, Ivaylo. I can't go buy my fish deboned for me.
Oh, come on, it's not that big.
Like, I'm sorry that you've lived in the lap of, like, royal luxury your whole life.
All right, so this is the extent to which I will agree with you. First of all, I've never had any crustaceans or octopus or squid or whatever, unfortunately.
Madness. Octopus is amazing.
I have had prawn and I have had crawfish or crayfish. Loved crayfish. It's one of the most creamiest, buttery, it's really amazing, seafood I've ever had. My favorite fish happens to be the king mackerel. And obviously sometimes you'll fry it or grill it. I don't really mind whether it's fried or grilled. It really depends on how you season the fish. Anything else, I can tolerate sea bass, but I hate really fatty fish like salmon. I do not like salmon. Salmon, the only way in which I would tolerate it would be smoked salmon raw. That I can tolerate.
God, disagree.
Even though I've never actually had sushi. But that's my opinion on fish. And
actually,
seafood.
That's the weird thing. So I hate
salmon.
fish in almost all like situations, but sushi I'm okay with. I don't know what it is. I think it's the rice, kind of gives it a different taste and the way it's seasoned and the soy sauce and all that. Whereas when I'm eating like fish on its own or with bread or anything else, I just don't like that fish taste. Like the fish taste.
You guys
itself.
are wrong, man. You guys are all wrong. Fish is amazing. I just love fish. Salmon is great. I dislike fried fish, though. The English fish and chips, I really can't stand those. But fish is great. Love fish.
I'm on the opposite end. One of the first foods I ever had in the UK was fish and chips, of course. And I just immediately fell in love.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
So, that's my opinion on it. What I wanted to also ask you guys was...
Wait. You haven't given us your disgusing takeaway.
Oh,
favorite.
of course. Well, it will, okay.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not pizza, even though I love pizza a lot. I also love, fried chicken's great, but burgers. Burgers are my...
Yeah. Are we talking like gourmet burgers or just like Big Mac or like Burger King?
Well, no, I mean Burger King isn't so bad. Big Mac I can tolerate. Like if I need a snack, I'll go for like a double or nowadays triple cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Which is quite affordable, even though it might not be the most healthy option. Sorry, McDonald's. But when it comes to we went to that gourmet place. I can't remember what it was called a while ago. They had an amazing burger and they cooked it to perfection. I asked for medium rare and oh my goodness, it was great. So that kind of food I would love. Well, the reason why, I'll explain. So my dad used to have a restaurant and I used to work there. And I used to make all the burgers. I used to make all the grilled food and stuff like that. And my signature burger was the chili con carne quarter pounder.
Okay, yeah, I love chili con carne. That stuff's fucking great.
Yeah, exactly.
Tasty.
As soon as I learned how to make that, I just fell absolutely in love. And
Joe's one of those.
My God.
Joe's one of those chefs who learns to cook and then gets fat because he tastes his own food.
Yes, exactly. But I don't mean to brag, but it was a very popular meal option for the customers. So, and I just loved making it. It was the one thing that made me happy about being there. Like, obviously I learned all the basics about, chopping food and cooking food and all that, health and safety and stuff. But making that chili burger, it was the reason why I stayed.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, Joe knows what my favorite takeaway.
I mean, everyone knows because you never
owes
shut
me
up
one.
about it.
Let's tell everyone the story. So
he owes me one.
Not for any bad reasons, but during the US elections, I did not think that Joe Biden would win. Ivaylo did. So we decided to make a bet. If Ivaylo won, I would buy him a green pepper wrap.
Hell yeah.
And if I won, he would buy me ice cream like that, because that's usually what I always bet when I bet. So I obviously lost. So I owe Ivaylo a wrap.
And he's actually going to buy it to me tomorrow.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Nah, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's wraps. Chicken wraps are amazing. We didn't have those in Bulgaria, but yeah. Green Pepper, shout out to Green Pepper, sponsor us. Anyways,
I was going to say, do you know what one thing I hate about living here is? Especially when it has to do with takeaway. Yeah. There's one sort of takeaway that is exceedingly rare in England, and that is Mexican food.
Oh my gosh, yes!
I love proper Mexican burritos, the ones with all the stuff in them, good tacos with all of it in it. You know the ones where they use beans and fries and just anything and everything you can think of, and it's in there, and it's amazing. And here, when I look at my, ordering apps, let's not give anyone free advertising. They can sponsor us if they want us to say their names.
Yeah.
When I look at my apps, there is literally not a single Mexican place within radius of me. And that is actually depressing to me. I want a good taco. I want a good burrito now and then. I want to have like... It's crazy that we don't have something like Chipotle here because Mexican cuisine is so good. It's horrible for me. It causes my IBS to literally go into nuclear meltdown. Yeah. But man, it's so good. I want to throw away a weekend just having a burrito and dying after.
Man, that is true. I would love to have some Mexican.
I also agree. I think there is a Taco Bell in central London, but obviously it's not going to be the same as the US Taco Bell. You know, we talked about in a different episode about going to the US, and one reason I would love to go, or just the American continent, is to experience the food. Oh my gosh, anywhere that I go, I would love to just go and experience the food.
Yes, this is why Joe gets fatter and fatter, boys.
It's my biggest vice. But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Lord.
So, do you also all hate the kind of people that go to a different country and eat their own food that they'd have in their own country instead of trying stuff from the locality?
Yes, because where's the bloody adventure in that?
That is one of the things when I see like a British tourist go into like fucking France and then go to a fish and chip shop, I'm just like, why the fuck are you here? Why? If you refuse to try the like local food, why did you travel?
I mean, some people like their...
No, you do not go to a different country and eat fish and chips. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I usually agree.
The one exception which is dietary reasons. So, for example, if someone eats only halal or kosher, then it's going to be very hard for them to experience foreign cuisines unless the restaurant that they go to also offers those options.
I mean, most do these days.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really hard to find somewhere that doesn't have like kosher, halal, or even vegan options at this point.
Exactly. So other than that, if you're one of those people that Lawrence just mentioned, I am judging you. I'm so sorry. But what the heck is the adventure in going to a foreign country and not experiencing the cuisine?
Like straight up.
Oh dear. Speaking about experiencing cuisines, I think to end this episode, we should direct ourselves to some of our own cuisine. And, I feel that, I think that Joe has actually a recipe from his own culture that he would like to share with us. And so do I, and I will do after he does. So, Joe, take it away, bro. Share with us a Persian recipe.
Thank you.
Go on.
So this is in no way and by no means entirely representative of the entire Persian cuisine. Obviously, it can't be. I'm not going to mention stuff like kebab because we've all had kebab. You don't want to go and make kebab again or order it, right? Yeah. So I'm going to mention something that people might not have usually had, which is it's this thing called Ashreshter. And ash in Persian just basically means like thick soup, right? And reshta means noodles. So it's like a noodle soup. It's actually a vegan option. So I usually have it on Fridays. And I love to have it served cold. Mm-hmm. So here's what the recipe is. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you gotta caramelize some onions with garlic.
Oh, baby, talk to me.
Yep.
You already sold me. Go on.
And then you season it. You season it with turmeric. You season it with this mix of spices called advia, which is like usually used for meat dishes, but we also use it for this. You can also obviously add salt and pepper to it. Then you add some mixed herbs, and I mean it varies what kind of mixed herbs you wanna use. But if you look up the recipes, usually it's like parsley, spinach, dill, and sometimes spring onion, coriander even. And then once you've done that, you want to add in your chickpeas, black-eyed beans, lentils. Just saute it for a little bit. And once you've done that, you want to add water. And you just let it simmer so it gets to boil. And once it gets to boil and all of the food inside is, sufficiently cooked, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add in the Persian noodles. And I'm not sure if you can get these anywhere else but Persian shops, right? So big up Finchley and Golders Green if you want to go there and get some Persian food.
Hell yeah.
And, once that's done, you also make like a little mint sauce. So you fry a little bit of mint in any sort of oil, but I would recommend olive oil. And you might want to add in some maybe onion powder and garlic powder and also salt and pepper. And sometimes what people do is they use dried yogurt, which we called cash, to mix in with the noodle soup to give it some like salty dairy flavor. But you can always forgo that because not everybody enjoys that.
Fair.
So that's my recipe. If you guys want to go and try it out, we'll tweet all of these recipes. We'll post all of these recipes so you guys have it all.
We're also probably going to do a poll to see if which one you like the most.
We could also do a poll. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next because I've actually been prepared. This is my moment to shine. So if I fuck this up, it's gonna be super awkward. But
Everyone,
I'm calling out Gordon Ramsay.
Get ready
you know?
to see Ivaylo get shamed by his own people for fucking up the recipe
again, which happened after episode 2. Again. So right. So this is a traditional Bulgarian dish. I'm not gonna bother to say the name because, I'm gonna say the name anyways because it's called kachinomize, but it's literally that literally translates to Kate's dish. Mm-hmm. I have no idea who Kate is or what she did, but thank you, Kate. Right. So it's a very traditional dish, and it really sums up the entire Bulgarian taste. And if you ever do go to Bulgaria to a restaurant, you know what to get. Or you can make this at home thanks to your boy. So, the recipe for this is 500 grams of pork meat from the shoulder, 150 grams of bacon, 2 heads of spring onions, 3 red peppers, 100 grams of mushrooms, 400 grams of peeled canned tomatoes, 300 milliliters of vegetable stock, 80 milliliters of oil, 1 red hot chili pepper, salt, pepper, and seasoning of your choice. It's quite simple to make. You pretty much just you cut the pork into little cubes. You season them with salt and pepper, and your choice. You seal it in the oil until it obviously turns brown. Then you add the bacon. You add your chopped onions. You add your chopped mushrooms. You add your chopped peppers. You pretty much add it all together. You wait for the water to evaporate for the sauce to happen, and then you change it over into a different special pot, which it's a Bulgarian pot. I'm happy to share pictures if for people who want to know. You can get it in Bulgarian shops. Big up Tooting Broadway. But so you get it into like a clay pot, and then you cook it around 30-40 minutes for I don't know what's a good temperature, 170 degrees Celsius. And yeah, it's a pretty good dish. It's very tasty.
That sounds delicious.
Probably my favorite dish, and this is a dish with which I almost poisoned my date at the time.
Wow.
So if you want to poison your date, make this. I'm kidding. Obviously, it's a joke, but it's probably my favorite dish. It's one of the stuff that if someone puts a gun to my head and say cook something, I'll be like, I got you, fam. I got you.
Nice.
But yeah, that's kachinomize. Enjoy that.
And Lawrence?
Yeah.
So, I see that we're going with dishes from our countries because we're such a cultural podcast.
Diversity, yeah.
Now, anyone who knows anything about Eastern Europe and Eastern European countries knows that Slavic diets consist of meat, and some more meat. And that is also the case in Romania, where 90% of all our unique dishes are literally something with meat of some sort. And
can confirm.
sarmale, which I don't even know what the hell it translates to, is just you take a cabbage skin and you fill the inside with meat, and that's a food. But the one I want to talk about, it's both funny because of the name, but it's also one of my favorite foods from back there. It's salata de bœuf. Now, how that translates is beef salad.
Beef salad.
If you get what I mean when I say there's meat in everything.
Hell yeah.
Now, beef salad, yeah, I'm not giving you the recipe or how to make it because it's incredibly simple. You can go Google it. But also, good luck, because making it taste good is 1 in 50 that I've ever tried taste the way I think it should. And that's a very big issue. And if my mom didn't constantly cook food and was really good at it, I would probably never attempt to make this dish because it tastes like shit if made by the wrong person.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to try something Romanian that isn't just hunk of meat with lettuce around it, try beef salad. Go look it up. It's really good. It's a pain in the ass to make the taste good, and sometimes it will make you sick if you make it bad, so good luck poisoning yourselves. But it's good. It's tasty. It's nice. And it's one of those really interesting and rare dishes that you won't ever find in England if you go to most restaurants because, it's super Romanian.
Yo, Lawrence, I actually have a question. Have you heard of something called mamaliga?
Yes, everyone has. That's
Have you had
Here's the amazing thing about that, yeah? That is so easy to make and so cheap that for a lot of poorer families back where I'm from, it's a substitute for bread because it's just cheaper to make mamaliga than bread.
I understand, yeah. Similar thing, yeah.
Yep.
We have it too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's been it, in my opinion. That's been a great episode about food, and hopefully you guys take up some of the recipes and try them out yourselves. Obviously, be safe, take care. And yeah, man, have some fun and learn to cook. It's an essential life skill, and your partner and your family are going to be grateful for it.
And obviously, if you guys want to go check out our socials, and if you like this episode, we'll make more of it. Hopefully, we'll just keep putting out short episodes, and you guys will keep listening to us. So, I've been Joe.
I'm Lawrence.
I've been Ivaylo.
Make sure you call out Ivaylo in the comments for not liking coconut, because he's a subhuman freak.
Make sure to not bully me about the recipe, my fellow Bulgarians. Bye.
Bye.